At the time of recording this video, I'm 37 years old, and I've discovered something very simple that a lot of these online gurus will not tell you. Being over 35 is a massive advantage to getting started on this platform. And today, I'm going to show you why your life experience is more valuable than anything else, and also why an Amazon business is perfectly suited to you if you're 35 or more. So watch every second of this video, and let's get going. First things first, my name is Stephen Summers, and I am the founder of Marketplace Superheroes, and we've helped people all over the world, people just like you who are all different walks of life as well, people that are often in their 40s, 50s, and even 60s, and many people in their mid-30s build business on Amazon. And these are people who typically had professions in many cases. Often we have people that we work with who are managers in places, it could be IT firms even, a lot of IT people in Marketplace Superheroes, but also professionals as well. So accountants, lawyers, things like that. And the reason that they come to us, and the reason maybe you're watching this video as well, is because you're over 35 and you're in a position where you're asking yourself, how can I get more time? And that is one of the big motivators we see. Like, people come to us and say, I'm looking for something that's going to give me more time. Because it's quite likely you've been working for a long time or a relatively short period of time and making other people money because you're somebody who has really good skills. And I want to point out to you some of the skills you have that will likely make you really good when it comes to building a business, selling products over on Amazon. And these are things that maybe you haven't even thought about, that are skills that would help you make an income on the internet. So the first thing I want to even remind you of is that you likely understand the value of systems. Because if you've been working for a long time, depending on your career, you probably had to learn how things work and follow a very specific process. And this is something that makes you great, because a lot of younger people nowadays, they're not really used to learning systems. And they also typically don't have very much patience, because let's face it, we live in an ADHD world now where some people can't even watch a video for more than 5 or 10 seconds before they skip on to the next thing. But you're a little bit different because you're likely in your mid-30s, 40s, 50s, or even 60s. And so following processes and actually having patience as well is something that you've likely picked up over time, having been in a career where you follow this kind of thing. So if we look over at Amazon and we see, well, how does this system really operate? It's very simple. We need products that people already want to buy. We then need a place to be able to sell it. And we have that with Amazon, so that's great. And then we just need people, PPL, I'll just write down. We need people, someone to sell to. Amazon gives us all of these different pieces. It literally helps us understand what products that we should sell. There's a way we do that. We've got tons of videos on the channel where we'll show you how to find products that are great for wholesale, how to find them for arbitrage. Gives you a place to sell. That's the beauty of Amazon. You might think like you need to have like a website in order to get a business started. And Amazon kind of gives you your website, because all we're doing is we're jumping on there, we're finding products people are already buying, and we're then finding suppliers who already have those products. And the suppliers can really be one of two things. It could be an actual distributor or supplier, or in the case of doing something like arbitrage, for example, whereby you're buying things from a retailer at a discount and selling on Amazon at full price, your supplier would be a retailer, or in the case of us, hundreds of different retailers that you can buy from. And so Amazon's perfect for you because all you're going to need to do is learn how to source stuff, which we can teach you very quickly, learn how to sell it, which is really simple, because even on Amazon, all the photos of the products, because we're selling things that are already existing, they're already there. The copy, so like that would be like the title, the bullet points, all that, it's already there. Everything's ready to go. Even the distribution network is already ready to go. There's nothing for you to do. Like, you don't need to go and get a warehouse. You don't need to get staff or anything like that. So we source, we sell, and then we repeat. We go back, and if we're doing wholesale, for example, we just simply are going to reorder the items that we made money with. If we're using something like arbitrage, be it retail or online, we're going to try and replenish if we can by going back to those and seeing that they still have those items. If not, we're going to find new places where we can go and find those items. And then we're just basically repeating these steps again and again and again. We source stuff, we sell it, and we repeat. and we make a profit margin whenever we sell these items. And some people will tell you, oh, like there's no money can be made. Amazon, their fees are too big and all that. And I'm here to tell you something. Having done this now and been in this market for over 15 years, that's just not the case. Are there situations where you just can't make money on something? Absolutely. But that goes for any opportunity out there in the world. When you learn to do things the way we teach it, you will find opportunities either in wholesale or in arbitrage. And there is a way where you can sell your own branded stuff, but we're not going to get into that too much for now. The second thing is you have some experience too. You have life experience and also you got business experience. I met a client of ours recently, Karen, and she is in a really high-powered job for a long time. She's really used to speaking to people, selling things. And so for her coming in here and doing this with us, it was just really simple because she's like, I already have a lot of the skills required to be successful because I have experience. They're actually personnel experience is like a big one. Having the experience of dealing with different people. I mean, a lot of young people don't really have that. They've never really been in situations where they've had to manage people. And if you have some of those skills, you're in a really fantastic place because actually Amazon is all about, especially wholesale, that this personnel piece is really critical. Because if you're doing wholesale, you're going to be speaking to suppliers and you're going to be opening up like accounts with them. That's really spelled terribly, L there, believe me, it's an L. You're going to be speaking to suppliers, you're going to be opening up accounts, and all of that requires an ability to be able to talk to another human. So communication skills, you likely have experience communicating with people, which is fantastic because all we're doing is we're speaking to suppliers, we're opening accounts, we're getting things moving. Now, if you're doing arbitrage, you're not going to need to talk to anybody. But what you'll also have the experience of, like we just talked about, following some systems, you need judgment experience too. Because while we can teach you the process of being successful, and also if you want to learn how to do it the right way, you can type in FBA down in the comments. And we'll give you more information on the 2 different Amazon business models and show you how to get started. FBA down below. Back to this. Judgment skills are huge because no matter what we teach you, you're still going to be the one who's going to decide what you're going to sell. You're going to be calculating your profit margin using software, and you're going to be making choices that are really important. But you likely have a lot of these things already because you have life experience. And also one big thing is you'll understand something. If there's profit to be made, you will go for it as long as it's reasonable. Let me give you an example. Let's say I said to you, you can take $1. After all expenses, that dollar will turn into $1.20. And you can just do that again and again and again and again and again. You would increase your wealth because you don't have to be in there every single day. You won't have to put in all of your time to make money. But if I came to a younger person and said this right here, they'd probably think, no, this isn't good enough because I saw on some random website you could make $1 gazillion by flipping some sort of digital thing. Right? They won't see the value in taking $1 and turning it into $1.20 by selling something you don't have to be there. I think that's a big piece of your judgment that will help you as well. Here's the next one. This is a faceless business. And I know if you're in your mid-30s, 40s, 50s and beyond, you probably want something where you don't have to be on camera jumping around the place. You don't have to be over on TikTok. You can just simply get a product, get it into stock, do a really simple thing, which is just change a price. That's all you have to do. And then you'll make some sales. And nobody will know it's you. Nobody will know that's Tony's business over there. Because all the people can see on Amazon, whenever they go on there, is they can see a picture of the product. They can see like the pricing, the buy now button. And down here, really tiny, is like ships from Amazon, sold by some seller. So you could have a company name that's just like completely random and no one would ever know it's you. And that's really important, by the way, because I know sometimes employers can be a little bit weird if like you're making money on the side and all that. You don't have to worry about that with this model just because it's totally faceless, no matter what you're doing really on Amazon. Whereas, if you're an influencer, for example, and you're over on Instagram, like you're making videos all the time. And this is coming from me. Like I do make videos to promote Marketplace Superheroes and it does take a lot of time. It also typically will take a team. And if it doesn't take a team, it's going to take a lot of time for you. Because remember, you're going to have to like edit the videos, shoot the videos. There's a lot of work involved there. And really there's no you don't know if there's going to be a payoff. Whereas when we're over on Amazon, here's the beautiful thing. I shown this in so many different videos, but this is just more of an advice video today. But we use a thing called Hero Launchpad. There's lots of different tools out there like it. And you can literally scan any Amazon listing, and it's going to tell you a few things. Number one, it's going to tell you how much revenue that item is bringing in. Now that is estimated, but it is very accurate. It's going to tell you how many units were ordered, so you can see that. And then it's going to tell you the number of sellers that are selling that item, which is important. And finally, it's going to tell you the number of units that are in stock. And what we're able to do is we're able to see how much money it's making, how many units, blah, 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 blah. And from all of this, we can find the opportunity very, very quickly by just scanning down through this and following a process that we can teach you. That I'm telling you, you can learn this process in like an afternoon, like from a okay, I understand the point of view. And in a few weeks, you can be in a position where you understand it enough that you can get yourself into stock and you can make your first sales and profits. And that's something that in many jobs or whatever careers, it could take you a long, long time to get trained up and all that. Whereas this is something that's pretty quick and it is faceless, which is a massive, massive advantage. The next piece is that you likely have access to capital. I'm not saying you're a multimillionaire, but you've been working in a job for long enough to know that you have some money. And look, to start an Amazon business in either like arbitrage or wholesale, we're right then, you need about, realistically, you need about a 1,500 or so all in here. And I'd say you need about $3,000 all in here. You will not need this on day one. You'll just need it at some point in time. And the biggest thing you're going to be buying with either amount of that money is just going to be stock. It's going to be inventory. But in both situations, you can order like a very small quantity of items. That's a big plus. Also, you're selling proven winners. Like, you know that they're making money right now. So there's really not a big risk when it comes to both of these models. Other models, there is more risk, but with these, there's really not. Now let's talk about growing your money as well. So if we're looking at like the ROI, the return on investment, how much have you grown your money by? You should be looking here at 30% or more, and you should be looking here at 15% or more. Now, you might look at this and go, well, I want to do arbitrage now. But just before you do that, understand with wholesale, we're able to order more volume than we are here with arbitrage. With arbitrage, we can only order 3 or 5 units from a retailer because we're buying from a retailer. Whereas with wholesale, we're literally going to a distributor or whatever, and we're able to buy a lot more. And that's why the margins are a bit smaller, because you're doing a bit more digging here in arbitrage and less digging with wholesale. However, there will be situations in wholesale where you may be making 30% or more. I just don't want you to expect day one, if you were making a 15% ROI, that it's like a bad thing. It's really, really not a bad thing. And anyway, if you look at a bank, like if you just leave your money doing absolutely nothing, like how much interest are you getting on that anyway right now? Probably less than 1%. Now, yes, there are some new banks that are online in nature that have come out and will pay you more, but it's highly likely you're not getting anything close to even a 1%. If we're growing our money by 30% or 15% after all expenses are paid, that's how we actually put ourselves in a really good financial position, because what we get here that you don't get from just leaving your money in the bank really is you get compounding. And if you ever saw a penny doubled, that's going to show you in 30 days that penny turned into a ridiculous amount of money by day 30. You can see it on screen here. That's what we're looking to do here, where essentially we're taking our profits that we make and then we're going to roll it back into the business to buy more inventory to then increase our money over time. So like you could start here with an amount of money, and by the time you get to here, you can be in a position where every 30 days, for example, you could be flipping your original investment. But here is where we grew our money, let's just say by 20%. And now we reordered with that additional 20%. Now we're making more profit here. We still got our 20% here. And we're just increasing our money all the time. We've got more money to invest and grow. But as you get confidence in the business, you're going to actually add money into the business. Because yes, you definitely can grow by what I've just outlined here, but it's going to be very, very slow depending on how much money you start with. And equally, when you're starting this business, if you put in 10 grand, like you're not just going to like buy $10,000 worth of inventory on day one because you don't know what you're doing. You're going to start small, you're going to grow from there. The next big advantage is you have a long-term outlook, probably longer term. Because I know you might be watching this video and you're 55 and you're thinking, Stephen, I don't have that long because I want to enjoy my life now and when I'm a little bit older as well. So I need to get moving quickly. That said, when I talk about long term, like our last example when we were talking about compounding money, there's people out there, if I told them to leave their money in for 12 months, they'd be like, that's just way too long. That's just unrealistic. Like you're going to leave your money in for a minimum of about 12 to 18 months in order to have enough money to grow at a more rapid rate. But let's face it, there's many businesses out there take 2 or 3 years before even a profit is seen. Whereas you will be profitable a lot quicker in comparison because of the fact that you're not going to have all these big expenses and overheads that most businesses do, which I think is a huge advantage. That said though, where you get the big reward is you might choose to start down here with arbitrage, for example, and you take some of your money, you buy some inventory, and you make it a return. And then you build it up to a point where let's say you're doing 10K per month, just as an example. And at this point, you say, okay, let me add in wholesale now. And then you get your business up to 50K a month because wholesale is going to make sense around here. Because, like we already talked about, you can order in more volume, and that's the play that you're going to look for here. You're looking for volume and you're looking for growth, and that's what's giving you that. And then really you can go from there and beyond. And if you're in this range here, let's say you were making an ROI of 20%. Let's just say it was like let's just take our sales here, 50. Let's say 20% of that was profit before tax. You'd be at like 10K a month here or so. Profit before tax, right? It could be a little bit more, it could be a bit less, but as a basic example, you can kind of see that's where things are going to change. And then when you start to make some of that money up around here, and you'll be making money the whole way up, and you will take some. So I've talked before about the 30-30-30 method. There's lots of different ways you could look at this and add in a 10 there as well. 30% to you, put that in your pocket. 30% then to expenses, 30% to taxes, 10% whatever you want. That's just one little way you could look at that. So if you were doing $10,000 a month in profit, you might put $3,333 in your pocket, right? That's just a way you could do that. So that's what it looks like, the longer term picture. But you only get to this longer term picture when you reinvest, when you add more capital into the business. And I'm telling you, this goes for any business the world over. It's always a game of making money, roll it back in, make some more money, roll it back in, again and again and again, until you're working with a much bigger budget to buy advertising, to buy products, or whatever the business you're in. And so look, finally, we have many students who are 35 plus, many people in their 50s that are building this business right now. They understand that Amazon represents a huge opportunity because there's millions of people on this incredible platform. There's over 200 million people alone who have a Prime account where they pay Amazon a bit of money to get faster shipping, Amazon Prime Video, and lots of other benefits. So for you watching this video today, I hope that you are excited to get started and get something running on Amazon. I'm telling you, it's a great way to get started at your age and beyond. And if you want to do it, type FBA down below and we'll get some information over to you to teach you the right way to get started with this business. So do give this video a like, make sure you type FBA down in the comments, and I'll see you over in the next video. And while you're waiting, you can go ahead and watch this one next.